class, it's Ashley, and I'm back with another mentoring moment. And today I'm here to talk about how to identify the right industry for your career transition. Before working with me, so many women come to me and say, hey, Ashley, I have 5, 7, 10, 20 years of experience in this industry, but I'm over this. I'm bored here. I'm overworked. I'm underpaid, and I want to transition to another industry, but I don't want to start over. I don't want to start at the bottom. I don't want to start in low level positions. I want to start in a higher level position in a new industry by leveraging the skills that I already have in this industry. And if that sounds like you, just throw some hearts up on the screen. If you're watching on replay, type replay right here, because this video is going to be really helpful for you to understand how to identify the right industry for your career transition. One of the fundamental beliefs of Mentor Me is that you can leverage the skills, the knowledge, the talent, and the expertise that you already have in industry to transition into another industry and make more money and have more impact in your career. And my role as your mentor is to help you use the skills, the knowledge, the talent, the expertise that you already have to position you at a higher level of leadership in your current organization, in your current industry, or help you transition into a new industry. And so for professional women who are looking to make more money and have more impact in their industry, they come to me to make sure that they can leverage the knowledge that they already have without getting another degree, without having to get another credential, without having to get some type of certificate. They're going to use the things that they already have to position them to a higher level of leadership. I am the best mentor to do that. I'm going to talk to you about the strategies that I teach in my Mentor Me Accelerator program, the exact strategies that I teach in that program to help my mentees really uncover all of the things that they're good at and leverage that to transition industries without having to start over or without having to take a pay cut. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, if that is a topic that you need to know more about, throw some hearts up on the screen. I want to make sure that this is resonating with you, and pull out a pen and paper, honey. Get ready to take notes so we can dive into this conversation. So there are 3 steps, right? There are 3 steps to identifying the right industry for your career transition. Step number 1 is that you have to get super clear on exactly what you're good at and the problem that you solve in industry, right? So employers are looking for someone to solve their problems. All a job posting is a list of problems that the organization has. Bullet, we have this problem. Bullet, we have this problem. Bullet, we have this problem. All a job posting is a list of problems. Your job as a job seeker, right? Your job as a job seeker is to look at the job description and say, yes, I can solve these problems. Yes, I can solve this problem. Yes, I can solve this problem, and be able to speak to your expertise and your ability to solve the organization's problem in your cover letter, in your resume, on your LinkedIn, and then eventually an interview, right? And as a mentor, my job is to help high achieving professional women identify roles where they can solve the problems that exist in organizations and position them as top candidates for those roles, right? So step number 1 in identifying the right industry for your career transition is to identify very clearly what you are good at. And one of the biggest challenges of women who don't work with me, or one of the biggest challenges I see before women hire me as a career coach, is that they don't have a lot of clarity on what they're good at, or the things that they're good at don't solve any problems. So let me give you an example. Lots of women come to me and they're like, Ashley, I am a team player. I really believe in teamwork. I'm great at working in teams. I'm a great leader. I lead teams. Like, that's what I'm good at. And that's fine and dandy. Like, we're all thrilled that you are a good team player. However, you being a team player does not solve an organizational problem, right? You listing your top skill as teamwork does not solve an organizational problem. And this is why you keep finding yourself looking for jobs and not finding jobs that are a good fit for you, or applying for jobs and not getting the call back, or getting the call back but not getting the offer, right? The reason why that keeps happening because you can't clearly articulate the problem that you solve to employers. And so employers are not going to be hiring you because you can't articulate the problem you solve. Employers are looking for problem solvers. Your inability to speak to the problem that you solve is holding you back in your ability to transition into a new industry and to make more money and have more impact. In session 1 of the Mentor Me Accelerator, I teach my mentees how to comb through their background, how to comb through what they did in undergrad, how to comb through what they did in graduate school, how to comb through what they did in their first job, their second job, this job, whatever they've been doing over the course of their career. I teach them there's a strategy that we work through, an assessment that you go through when you join my program to really uncover exactly what you're good at. And then we translate that into what employers are looking for in the marketplace right now. Right? One of the reasons why you're not currently coming up as the top candidate and why you're not getting job offers is because you can't clearly articulate the problem that you solve. And because you can't clearly articulate the problem that you solve, employers are not going to hire you because they're looking for problem solvers. So step number one is your ability to identify the problem that you solve and to be able to clearly, concisely, and confidently articulate that to employers in a way that's going to make them take notice. Right? So if someone's been taking notes, feel free to just type that in the comment section so anybody that's joining the live after this can know, or anybody that's not taking notes can know. The step number 1 to identifying the right industry for your career transition is to be able to clearly, confidently, and concisely speak to the problem that you solve. Too many of you are talking about, I'm a team player. I'm a hard worker. I am, diligent and follow up. I have, good emotional intelligence, but none of that speaks to the problems that employers are facing in their organizations, in their corporations, in their institutions. And that's why you're not being seen as a top candidate, because they don't know what problem you solve. You're not clearly articulating the value of your expertise in a way that's going to make the employer take notice, which means that you're going to continue to come up short in your job search. But once you join the Mentor Me Accelerator in session 1, I'm going to teach you how to position yourself as a top candidate by clearly being able to identify the problem that you solve. And then once you can identify the problem that you solve, employers are banging down your door. This is why you see me celebrating my mentees, every other day on Instagram, right? This is why you see me, she got the job, she got the job, she got the job. Like, this is why you see me saying that, because my strategies are going to help you reduce the overwhelm, cut through the clutter, and really position yourself as a top candidate. So that's step number 1, being able to clearly, concisely, and confidently speak to the problem that you solve. Right? So many of you are experts in what you do. You've been working in your current industry for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. You have a great deal of expertise, but you're still making about $50,000 or $60,000 a year when you should be making 90 or 100K because you don't know how to articulate the problem that you solve. One of the reasons why my mentees so easily see $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 salary increases is not because they come and work with me and get another degree. It's not because they come and work with me and get another credential. It's not because they come to work with me and they have automatically 5 more years of experience or something. It's because the problem is not your years of experience. The problem is not your expertise. The problem is not you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. The problem is that you don't know how to clearly articulate the problem that you solve. And so employers are not seeing you as a problem solver. Employers only want to solve their problems. That's all employers care about. They might tell you that they care about the community and they care about, you even. But most often what employers really care about is solving their problems. Let's say you're a person who works in healthcare, you are a healthcare administrator, and you train nurses and doctors or something like that. All they care about is, are their nurses and doctors trained to the level they desire? Maybe you're a person who works in marketing and communications. All the employer cares about is your ability to solve their communication problems. Once you can clearly, confidently, and concisely articulate the problem that you solve, then you're automatically positioned as a top candidate. And that's exactly what I teach my mentees in session 1 of the Mentor Me Accelerator. The other thing that we've got to be able to clearly identify is what you're not good at. Right? And whenever I ask prospective mentees, so when you apply to work with me, we'll get on a call and we'll talk about what you're good at, what you're not good at. And it's so funny to me because when I ask people what they're good at, it's like crickets. Like, I don't really know. I'm not sure. But when I ask people what they're not good at, they're like, yeah, girl, I don't know nothing about this. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know. And so it can be really easy for us to identify what we're not good at. Right? Like, and often, we have a deficit mindset, or like people are constantly telling us, you gotta be better at this, you gotta be better at that. So like people can clearly identify what you're not good at, right? Maybe that's you. So, but in order to position yourself as a top candidate, when you're transitioning industries, you have to be able to clearly articulate what you're not good at and how you mitigate what you're not good at so it doesn't get in the way of you being the top candidate. Let me give you an example. So I was just in a session last night with a mentee, and she was saying that, and let me know if you've ever heard of this, right? Just throw some hearts up on the screen if you've ever said this in an interview, or maybe you've interviewed a person and they said this, that, one of my biggest weaknesses is that, I help everybody first. I'm always there for everyone else. And it's sometimes hard for me to focus on myself and get my own stuff done because I'm just helping everybody else, right? I'm seeing the hearts come up on the screen, right? This is a very common, tell me about your weaknesses. Then you get on there telling them, I'm a perfectionist. One of my biggest weaknesses is that I just really struggle to get things done sometimes because I so care about the outcome. I so care about it being perfect. So sometimes it's hard for me to get projects done because I just am a perfectionist, right? If that's you, just type a 1 in the chat. If you've ever said, I'm a perfectionist, or my biggest weakness is, I just help everybody before I help myself, right? And this is a very common thing that comes up in interviews. Yes, I know. I'm giving y'all a hard time because I have literally sat in 1,000 interviews. I'm interviewing people constantly in industry, and I'm just so sick of y'all lying to people and telling them that y'all are perfectionists. I'm so sick of y'all lying to people and telling them my biggest weakness is just I help everybody else, and sometimes I don't have time to do what I'm supposed to do. It's like, girl, boo, no one cares. Please stop it. So then the question is, Ashley, okay, Ashley, I get it. It's played out. Everybody says that. What am I actually supposed to say? What am I actually supposed to say in an interview when someone asks me what I'm not good at? How do I identify the right industry for my next, career move? If I feel like I want to go to tech, I want to go to healthcare, I want to go to nonprofit, I want to go to education, I want to go to corporate, but I don't know how to get there because I feel like I don't have X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C, right? Yeah. And thank you, Faux Petty, who said, you said this, right? This is pretty common. So then what do we say, right? How do we address the issue that we have weaknesses, that we have gaps, right? And in session 1 of the Mentor Me Accelerator, in addition to teaching you to speak to what you're good at in a way that's going to make the employer take notice, I'm also going to teach you about what you're not good at. Right. And I'm going to teach you how to mitigate and manage what you're not good at so it doesn't get in the way of what you are good at. Too often, high achieving professional women are like, well, I don't have this technical skill and I don't know how to do this and I don't know how to do that. And then what happens is we start to get overwhelmed and shy away from industries and shy away from higher level roles and shy away from higher paying roles because we feel like, well, I'm not good at this and I'm not good at that. And so I just can't move on. But the truth is, the tactic that I want to teach you today is that you absolutely want to go into roles not being good at everything that's on the job description. An employer is not looking for you to know how to do everything on the job description. In fact, there's a strategy that I teach in my programs called the 70% rule, where I teach professional women how to evaluate a job description, position themselves at 70% or higher on the job description, and then position themselves as the top candidate. Because you don't have to know how to do everything that's on the job posting. All you need to be able to do is 70% of what's there, and then I will teach you how to mitigate everything else. But in order to identify the right industry for your next career transition, you absolutely have to know what you're good at and the problem you solve. You absolutely need to know what you're not good at and how to effectively mitigate what you're not good at so it doesn't knock you out of the top spot. And then the third strategy, right? The third strategy that I teach my mentees in the Mentor Me Accelerator comes in session 2 when I teach you about your values, right? And I get it. When it comes to talking about values, a lot of people are like, okay, Ashley, this is so frou-frou. Teach me how to salary negotiate. Teach me how to find the job that's paying me 6 figures. I get that. But what I have to teach you first is how to center yourself in your career. So many of y'all are worried about the wrong thing when it comes to your career. Well, what industry is going to be right? And what industry paying the most? And which jobs got the best perks? And I'm trying to remote work. What you need to be worried about are these organizations, are these companies, are these institutions aligned with who you are and how you desire to show up in the world? There has to be value alignment in your career development for you to build sustainability in your career and for you to truly make more money and have more impact in the career long term. If you want to stop trauma jumping from job to job to job and actually build some stability in your career while making more money and having more impact, you've got to have a valued-centered career search. And that's session 2 of the Mentor Me Accelerator. I teach my mentees how to build and take action on a valued-centered job search. So we just not out here, casting a wide net and taking anything that we can get and waiting for somebody to put us on. We actually have a strategy that centers us, that centers who we are and how we show up in the world and what matters to us. Right? That's the kind of job search you want to build. One that centers you, not one that centers what's going on in the market and which jobs hiring. It don't matter who hiring, because the only thing that matters is what you want and going after what you want. I have helped mentees secure $20,000 and $30,000 salary increases in their same organization because together we built a job that didn't even exist. That's the kind of strategy that we can build together. But only when you know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, and have a valued-centered job search, right? And so let's talk a little bit about this because I posted this in my feed today. Like, what does it mean actually to have a value-centered job search, right? What does that actually mean? What does that look like in practice? So let's walk through this strategy here today. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is like when women are struggling to identify the right industry, the primary thing that I'm inviting them to think about is the industry and their values, right? The industry and their values. So for my mentees who, value faith, family, and impact, if you're a person who really wants to impact the lives of the people that you serve, the communities that you serve, if you're a person who really values family and wants to work in an organization that also values family, if you're a person who values faith and God or the creator or the spirit is important to you, one of the industries that might be a great fit for you is education. Right? Education institutions are one of the few institutions in this country that can still be faith affiliated. Right? You can go to a Jesuit school. You can work at a Jesuit school. You can work at a Catholic school. You can work at, a Christian based, institution, right? That's still available in education. And so if those are some of your core values, that's going to be a really great industry for you. If you're a person who values innovation and fast pace, education might not be a good, industry for you because typically education institutions move very slow. They are not early adopters of innovation. Sometimes it takes them a while to, catch up and, keep pace. Right. And so it's really important that you understand what your values are and that you're making value aligned career decisions. Too often what I see from professional women that they're chasing, which industry gonna make the most money and and I've proven, I've served hundreds of women over the course of my career in mentorship. And I have mentees in engineering, in education, in nonprofit, in government. And I've been able to help women across that entire spectrum earn, literally just this year in 2022, my mentees have earned more than $100,000 in salary increases, raises, and bonuses. Those mentees came from education, from nonprofit, from tech, and from healthcare, right? And so it doesn't matter what industry, there is no one industry that's making money. It's about identifying what you care about, what your values are, and what industry is aligned with those values. Let me give you another example. Let's say you value stability and loyalty. Maybe for you, you're like, Ashley, I value stability. I want to work in an organization I don't want to work for the latest tech organization. I want to work for an organization that's been around for a while, that has some stability, that has a hierarchy, that I know who my boss is. Government is going to be a great industry for you, right? Because, when it comes to stability in the industry, in the economy, government jobs are typically very stable. Also, government jobs and government employees typically are very loyal to the government, right? And there's no right or wrong on values, right? Like, I'm never going to be like, well, you shouldn't value that. You shouldn't care about. Listen, if you care about fun and recognition, then the entertainment industry is going to be a great industry for you. There's no right or wrong when it comes to values, but you do absolutely need to know what you value so that you can have a value-led job search, right? So you can have a value-led career development strategy, right? And as a mentor, my job is to help you identify what you're good at, what you're not good at, and what you value so that we can actually have a job search strategy that yields results. Right? One of the reasons why you by yourself in your DIY job search have been job searching for 3 months, 6 months, a year. I was in the DMs with with a prospective mentee. She contacted me 6 months ago talking about, Ashley, I want to work with you. I said 6 months later, she's back in my DMs. I said, sis, what happened? We had an initial conversation. You said you were going to, do it on your own and you was just going to job search. 6 months later, you still have not secured a job offer. I said, what's going on? She's like, well, I'm going on interviews. I'm just not getting offers. The reason is because you don't have a strategic job search. The Mentor Me Accelerator program is 8 weeks. 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, I can help you secure a $30,000 salary increase in an industry that's aligned with what you're good at and what you value. If those are the kind of results that you're looking for, if you have a sense of urgency about this, if you're like, actually, Ashley, I can't go into March making the same amount of money I made in January and February. If that's where you're at right now, if you're like, oh no, I literally cannot afford to make so little money, then I'm the right mentor for you. If you have a sense of urgency about this thing, if you're like, actually, I literally cannot afford to stay broke. These bills are going up. I'm trying to move. I'm trying to go on vacation this summer. I'm trying to, whatever you're trying to do, if it can't wait for you to make more money, then the time to apply to the Mentor Me Accelerator is now, right? If you literally cannot wait to make more money, if you're trying to save for the house, if your goal is to pay off your debt in the first half of 2022, the time for you to work with me as a mentor to help you secure the $30,000 or $40,000 salary increase that you're looking for, the time for that is now. Because what we need to do together now in February is to help you find and secure a new role so you can be in that new role by March so that you can see your salary go up and so that you can start paying off your debt so that the debt is paid off before the first half of the year, but so before June. If you're constantly waiting and trying to DIY your job search, you're only going to delay your results. DIYing your job search is only gonna delay your results. And how can I know that? How can I tell that? I know that because I tested the data. I have a graphic, and you can scroll down on my feed and see it. I have a graphic that talks about for women who are just out in the job market, they're searching for jobs, right? Let's say that you're a woman, you make about $50,000 a year. Let's say you do, you do job search and you do find a job. Typically, on average, for just a woman out in the world looking for a job, if she does get a new job, it's going to be about a $14,000 salary increase, right? If she's just out there doing it on her own. My mentees, when you work with me, on average, my mentees see a $25,000 salary increase. $25,000 salary increases after working with me. That's an average. Of course, I have mentees who see well above that. I had a mentee, Kimmy, just last week who saw a $55,000 salary increase. I have a mentee, Shauna, who saw a $42,000 salary increase. I have a mentee, Patty, who just saw an $84,000 salary increase. So I do have a number of mentees who see above that $25,000 salary increase, but that's my baseline. I don't even accept women who I can't help secure a minimum of 25K, right? And so if you can't afford to stay in your current role, like if your bills are going up, if you're trying to move, if you're trying to save, if you're trying to pay down debt, if you're trying to help out family and you're like, I can't keep making 53K because I have to be at 70. I've got to be at 80. I've got to be at 110 by March because I have these other things to do. If that sounds like where you are in your career development, then I invite you to apply to the Mentor Me Accelerator Day. The February cohort is forming, and I don't want you to be in the same situation come the middle of the year, right? I promise you, June and July is not as far as you think it is, sis. June and July is not as far as you think it is. And if you don't get some urgency behind your commitment to making more money and having more impact, it literally will not happen. So I do help new and mid-level professional women. So if you are a new professional, maybe you recently finished school, or maybe you've only been in industry like 1 or 2 years, I do serve women in that space. For example, my mentee, Patricia, she recently transitioned from healthcare to education, and we worked together over the last 8 weeks. And she just got a job offer, a $20,000 salary increase, transitioning from healthcare, like billing and finance and healthcare, to an education role. We secured a $20,000 salary increase, and she only has about 2.5 years of working experience, right? So I absolutely serve new professionals. So if that sounds like you, I definitely encourage you to apply to work with me, because that's going to be a good fit for you. That wraps up today's live. Thank you so much for watching. This was so robust. Please share this live. If you learned something here and you're like, yes, other people need to know how to identify the right industry for their next career transition, please share this live. I want to make sure that I'm connecting with more women to help them have real solutions to make more money and have more impact in their career. This is a great one to save. And then if you are a professional woman who works in corporate, nonprofit, and educational leadership, and you're looking to secure a minimum of a $25,000 salary increase over the next 8 weeks, then I invite you to apply to the Mentor Me Accelerator right now. I'm accepting new mentees right now. And for women who are committed to investing in their career development to get unstuck in career and actually make more money and have more impact, now is the right time for you. Apply today. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.